What seat do you usually take?
It'll be easier if I take this one because I'm
Yeah.
talking.
That's fine.
Usually I rely on that clock, but
Yeah.
obviously.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oops.
I've got a 9:58.
Right.
So I think we're
I
good.
have, this is always about 3 minutes ahead,
Well, there you go. So we can,
and this one is the one I,
yeah, that's the one I use. I rely on my phone. You know, we're modern Apemen. We have to
Right.
use our phones. So used to have to carry sticks and fire, and now we have a phone.
yep. But I still wear a watch all the time.
Yeah, my daughter. See, I sort of like skipped the generation. My dad had a watch. My daughter has a watch, and she's got it connected to her phone. So she literally gets a text, and she looks at her phone. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the patience for a phone.
The problem is, any text on here,
Well, she's got the eyesight for it. I do like put this on, and it's going to take me 5 minutes to look at my watch. It's not really super convenient. I think if the watch were the size of my cell phone, it would be great.
yes, right.
Oh, that's fine.
So I have a picture of my grandfather. He's sitting on a horse. He was
Okay.
I think he was a lieutenant colonel at the time. Dutch East Indian Army. And on his wrist is a big leather strap. And there's a pocket watch on it.
Oh, wow.
And I have that pocket watch.
That's cool.
It's
You
a
should,
Waltham.
you should get it remounted on the leather strap and wear it. That'd be a cool watch.
It's a Waltham watch.
It's a what?
Waltham.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
which was like one of the standards of the world.
Is it? Yeah,
a
it's like,
century ago, 125 years ago.
I bet it's got some real value to it, too. Does it still work at all?
Oh yeah, I have it every so often. I have it cleaned.
Oh, that's great.
Are you ready, sir?
Anytime you're ready, we'll continue.
By the way, these are for
Yeah,
us.
that's great. I might need that.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. My name is Peter Van Erp. I serve as your worship associate for today. Wherever you find yourself in life's journey, whatever faiths you have found and lost, whatever you wear, whomever you love, find hope and inspiration with us. You are welcome here. During the summer, while our minister is away, the worship committee hosts a series of services which are led by church members or friends. This morning, Steve Ahlquist will be leading the service. Steve is a longtime member of the congregation. He is an independent journalist covering mostly politics here in Rhode Island. You can follow him on Substack, like you should. Steve is a familiar face to most of us, since he can be found wherever church members are protesting. We extend our thanks to our accompanist, Clara Rosenbaum, and to Francisco Isaza and Suzanne Alden, who will be our musicians this morning. This is the day we have been given.
Please join me in the words of our chalice lighting as printed in your order of service. Okay. This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights our path towards harmony and justice for all. We now go into a time of greeting. Please take this. Oh, can you skip that?
No, the second chalice lighting.
Oh.
Whoops. Oh, I missed one.
Oh, okay. That's fine. What's that?
Bad editing job.
Yep. All right, here we go. We light this flame to send and receive blessings, warmth, and light to Reverend Roger until his safe return this fall. Okay. Now we enter the time of greeting. Please take the opportunity to greet those near and far in the meeting house. And cool. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, I'm glad it was like not missing. I was like, what did I miss? Yeah. It's all right. I was going to read whatever you put there, so there you go. Right.
Yeah, right.
You could have really set me up.
Yep. So we give them a few minutes to talk around.
Yeah, no problem.
Then I will tell everybody.
Oh, you're going to take care of that.
Yeah. So you can go say hi. let us take a chance to greet those who are joining us at home through the cameras in the back of the meeting house. Please join me in the words of our covenant as printed in your order of service. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. Please rise in body or spirit as you are able, and join in singing hymn number 168 from the gray hymnal, One More Step. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and mysteries of this great gift. I will now read the joys and sorrows of this congregation, written in the book at the back of the meeting house. We recognize these joys and sorrows with candles lit from the flame atop the pedestal from our partner church in Transylvania. From Kate Niles, happy anniversary to my love Johnny. 34 together, 29 married. We have the sweetest adventures. And from Ann Connor, remembering Andrew Campbell. In the words of Mary Oliver, to live in this world, you must be able to do three things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your whole life depends on it. And when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. We now enter into a time of prayer and meditation. This is from The Prayer for Resilience by Douglas Taylor. For the times when we are brought low by anxiety or adversity, show us the hidden wells of love we can tap into. Help us rise up once more, just once more, and once more again will surely be enough. Remind us we do not strive in vain, that we are part of a chorus, that resilience is in our bones, that peace will prevail on earth, and that healing and grace come like soft rain. Be thou an ever-present strength upon journeys, and teach us that in falling down we do rise again. This we ask in the name of all that is holy. Let us now enter into a period of silent meditation. During this period of silence, if you have lost someone close to you in the past year, you may stand or raise your hand in recognition of that loss.
Let's see how this goes. First, though, let me thank Peter because he put up with me. I don't want to make excuses, but I am very, very busy and tend to work long hours. I keep my phone off when I'm writing, so Peter's been great and really helpful. So that's my preamble. Let's get to this. I'm going to be reading because usually I put down notes and I just wing it, but I wanted to be a little more precise here today because I'm talking about stuff I don't often talk about. I came to journalism the long way around. In school, I was a philosophy major, but over time, I became disenchanted with the idea of a life in academia. So when the opportunity came to open a comic book store, I did that. But through that time, as I raised my children, sold comics, wrote comics, and eventually moved on to working at Borders Bookstore for a decade, I still studied philosophy, religion, economics, and politics. When I was very little, I was young, I had dispensed with a belief in God when I realized that Jesus was a myth, just like Thor and Zeus and the rest of the pantheons. I remember a young preacher telling me that Jesus isn't like Thor because he's not ridiculous, carrying around a hammer and shooting lightning bolts. So I said, do you think that if Jesus wanted to carry a hammer and shoot lightning bolts, he couldn't? And the young preacher had no reply. Of course, his Jesus could fly through the air shooting lightning bolts. That for us giants, that wouldn't have been a problem. Jesus and Thor are more alike than different, is what I meant, and they are stories and myths. But I do digress, but I come back to that point, so it makes sense later. I've always been interested in journalism, but I had never been interested in working for an editor and being assigned stories. I wanted to cover what I thought was important, and I wanted to experiment with the style of writing journalism. I think it was the reason I, lately have been moving towards quoting people extensively rather than trying to describe what they're saying or put it into my own words. I think it's much more important to hear authentic words from authentic people, and I'm trying to remove myself from that as much as possible. I also wanted to challenge some of the philosophy of journalism as it developed over the last century and a half. I wanted to challenge the idea of journalism as being neutral. Fortunately, the internet happened and journalism became democratized, at least for a while. We'll see what happens in the future. Suddenly, you didn't have to spend millions of dollars on printing presses or buying a television station. You could just be a journalist on your own terms. So here's where I get a little controversial, as if the Jesus Thor stuff wasn't. The notion of journalistic neutrality was developed, I think, to sell newspapers, to protect the fortunes of people like William Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer. It's hard to sell advertisements to oligarchs if you're critiquing capitalism, right? They don't want to be in your paper if you're being too harsh. But journalism wasn't always neutral. In fact, when it's done right, I believe it never is neutral. Ida B. Wells was a black woman, journalist in the Jim Crow South. She did not approach the subject of lynching with anything like neutrality. She identified it as an evil and worked to end the practice, right? This is what journalism does. In these troubling times, which I think we're all aware of, journalistic neutrality is a moral violation, in my opinion. We must take a stand. Journalism cannot be merely the first draft of a dispassionate historical account. We live too close to it, right? We're not 100 years removed, we're not 200 years removed, we're soaking in it. The history journalists are reporting on is happening right here, right now, and we are affected as much as, if not more than, everyone else. Journalists, I mean. Did you know that last year was the deadliest year for journalists? By a lot. Since tracking these deaths started 30 years ago. Most of those deaths were at the hands of the Israeli military last year, 70%. Doing what I do here in Rhode Island, for whatever that's worth, I've received death threats in the past. Okay, people telling me to keep your head on a swivel, next time you're in Smithfield, watch out, and worse, right? You can't really be neutral as a journalist. At the very least, journalists depend on things like an open government, political accountability, the rule of law, free speech, and a free press. And our job is, in part, to defend all those. I would say that we depend on the full raft of human rights as outlined in the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which theoretically, as a signer onto that document as the United States, we are beholden to that like any other law, but we don't really treat those human rights as a sacrosanct as that United Nations document would have us think. It's our job as a journalist to defend those rights, not merely report on Trump's efforts to destroy them as if we're some kind of unconcerned robots, right? Because I think that's what people want. When people tell me my journalism is one-sided or whatever else, and other people's journalism, let's say, isn't, I like to point out that I'm owning my biases, and I think other journalists, if they claim to be overly neutral, are not owning their biases. And I think sometimes their biases are obvious, and sometimes they're not. So, I really love my job. I love being a journalism. I can't imagine doing anything else with my life for as long as I'm alive. I know I've been a force for positive change in Rhode Island at times. You know, I think there's a power plant in Barraville that isn't there
in part because of my work. I think I was helpful, well, in many things. I don't want to have a list, but I'll tell you this: the current Speaker of the House owes his job to a story I wrote about the previous Speaker of the House giving $1 million a year to a chiropractor, and he lost his last election, the first Speaker of the House in over 100 years or now, to lose an election. And that was very much in part because of what I wrote. So I know this is short, probably. Hope it's not too short. But I'll end with something I believe in strongly, and it might seem contradictory. There is nothing in this world more important than humans, and humans will always disappoint you. And what I mean by that is, at our best, we are amazing, transcendent, generous, and full of virtue. At our worst, we are monsters, unparalleled in our viciousness. As a journalist, I will be on the side of virtue, and I hope everybody here can feel the same. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, I should do this. Sorry. Okay, now hymn number 1017 in the teal. Okay, you got it. Building a New Way. Good.
We have been warmed by fires which we did not build. We have drunk at wells we did not dig. And we have gathered in fellowship in this space that is far older than any of us assembled. But it is in this space that we create and recreate the bonds that bind one of us to another. We pass our collection baskets to make a community expression of thanks for our many blessings, those we have witnessed and those yet to come. The morning offering for the work of the congregation will now be generously given and gratefully received. This is our time of invitations. We welcome all to the summer services in Just after the service, we will be gathering in the breezeway for refreshment and fellowship. Our theme for the summer services this year is a North Star. The North Star guides us through darkness and helps us find our way. It gives us direction when we are lost. And your North Star may shine within you, an inner place you can turn to in times of trouble, confusion, and chaos. We all need a North Star, especially right now. And come back next week to join Chris Campanile and Peg Boyle as they guide a community reading of Frederick Douglass's 1852 speech, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July?" And be sure to check the First U Times, which is sent every Friday afternoon, for all important information that you need about upcoming events and news. The First U Times is sent by email to all members, friends, and others who sign up for it. You can access it and sign up through the church website, or fill out a guest registry form at the welcome table.
Please join me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. We carry this flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.
It's okay.